You're watching Taufledermaus.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff of Taufledermaus. Today we're going to take a look at the VYATKA Slugs, a Soviet-era shotgun slug sent to us by Alexsey of St. Petersburg, Russia. While these slugs are old and quite rare, especially in the United States, having the original tray that they came in is a real treat. Now you may remember these slugs from a few years ago. We called them the Sputnik slugs. We only had a few of them, and we were only able to do a few short-range tests. Now, Alexsey told me that these have a pretty poor reputation in Russia, especially compared to their newer, more advanced slugs that they have available now. We'll be doing some longer range tests in this video, and we'll be able to see with our own eyes whether or not you could hit the broadside of a dacha with these. Now, I want to show you some of the markings on the bases of these slugs that are embossed in the plastic gas seal. We can see a K12, that means it's a 12 gauge, but we also see this 11K. And that's actually the price of this slug. And that's how we know this is a Soviet-era slug. Now this newer one is embossed with 20K or 20 kopek. Now if you're a Russian who lived through the Soviet era, these may be clues of when these were actually made. If you think you know when these were made, let us know. Spasiba! Now as an American, I'm really unfamiliar with this embossing of the price on goods like this. So I asked a friend of mine in Russia, Lars from the Survival Russia channel, what this is all about. Currently, Lars is working on this crazy tracked Russian vehicle that he's going to be cruising around in the swamps and stuff. Be sure to check that out. But Lars basically told me that everything from the Soviet era had a price stamped on it. And this was to prevent people from selling things at a higher price and making a little more profit than they deserved. And the consequences, if you're caught doing this, was going to a prison camp. In a capitalist free market based on supply and demand, if you price your product too high, everyone buys your competition's product and you end up going out of business. But if you price it too low and you can't make a profit, you also end up going out of business. So that's how prices are controlled in a free market. Now services like healthcare are a different story. Now the government has stepped in and kind of picked winners and losers, allowed insurance companies to set the prices and drug companies to set the prices instead of letting the free market set the price.
All right, welcome back to Taufleder Crew. I know it's been a week or two or three, but we're back. And today we got something from Russia. It's a Russian VYATKA. It's an old slug from, I don't know, maybe 30, 40, possibly 50 years ago. Like we call it around here, looks like a Sputnik, the satellite.
Or a cartoon rocket. There
you go, Buck Rogers thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna launch them today through the horizontal mass accelerator.
Smoothbore.
Smoothbore.
Yeah.
This time.
That's what they were made for.
And see what we can do with some of that. Got a little Russian ballistic gel down range there. Over here we call it a brick.
We're going to try something different here. We put a little bit of oil on the slug itself. See if we can see any shock waves or anything like that. People have suggested vape juice. Vape juice doesn't really work. You need something that atomizes, anyway.
Quickly.
Yeah. There's not enough time in a millisecond for things to heat up, in other words, like vape juice would need. It's traveling for just a millisecond, not enough dwell time to heat up. So hopefully just the oil vapor being atomized will show us something. Will it? I don't know. It might clean his barrel though.
Maybe it'll lube the barrel, we'll get a little bit higher velocity.
Yeah.
All right.
15 yards, you say? Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Had camera problems with the Chronos. My trigger was not working. I got a problem there. Let's try it again. Okay, I'm ready.
Now, as we can see, the ballistics of the VYATKA slug is not that bad. It's a very steady slug in flight. Now we did see a slight hint of the oil atomizing as it's traveling through the air. Hopefully with more experimentation we can find some kind of oil that really shows up well though.
Ballistic jelly. I wonder if we'll see any vapor clouds coming off there. We're still got the oil on there. I don't think that would mess up the ballistics or anything.
Shouldn't.
Okay, we're still at 15 yards.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
On this shot, we can see a little better trace of the oil mist coming off the slug. And we just have to find something with the right viscosity, something that'll stick to the slug really well, but also atomize as it flies through the air. Even going through that small amount of gel, the slug is mushroomed out a little bit as it exits. So far the slugs have been drifting a little bit to the right. Danny will just have to compensate for that and start bringing his point of aim to the left a little bit. But so far they look pretty steady and stable in flight, and I certainly wouldn't call these a terrible slug.
Okay,
All right.
I'm all ready to go.
Here we go.
And after making a few minor adjustments with the aim, Danny's spot on. Now if you were paying attention, you noticed that in a lot of these shots there is a second gas seal flying through the air. And that's needed because the original gas seal that was on these slugs was not sized properly. It was a very loose fit in a modern plastic hole. So they were probably using paper holes or something with a smaller inside diameter when they were originally selling these in Soviet times.
Okay, 25 yards now. Now that Danny has an idea where these are flying, where to hold the sights.
Now, even at 25 yards, the accuracy was decent. The windage is absolutely spot on, and we could just blame Danny for this one. You know, there's always that human factor, especially when using bead sights. And I can assure you, I couldn't have done any better than that.
Okay, now we're at 40 yards.
40 yards.
Yeah, it's good. He's just using a bead sight, so the bead sight's almost bigger than the target itself. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
All right, let's see what we can do.
Still hit it. Good.
At 40 yards, we could actually see the slug arcing downwards a little bit as it drops. Still pretty accurate though. For hunting wild boar or whatever they hunt in Russia, these would probably have gotten the job done.
So we moved it out to 50.
50 yards is probably about the maximum effective range using a smoothbore shotgun with bead sights on it.
About as far as you can go, and I can still see the target behind the bead.
Right, right. So far they've been pretty consistent. They've been a little bit left and right and stuff, so we never know. But so far they look like they're pretty decent slugs for being an old Soviet era slug, you know. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
All right, here we go.
Up. I think it went right over the top.
At 50 yards, well, Danny's human, what can I say? It just flew inches above it. That's not a giant target, by the way. That's just a 1-gallon jug of water.
Okay, that was the last Russian one, and it went, I think it flew a little high. I'll have to look at the high speed to confirm that. But Danny wants to hit the target, and he's just going to use an American Foster slug. Don't even say what name it is. It's kind of maroon colored.
Yeah, got a little white ball in behind it.
Yeah, it's a true ball.
Yeah, one of those.
Not a false ball. He's shooting high.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm dead on there.
Let's see if he can hit it with an American Foster slug. It's always neat to compare two slugs with something that's more common. Okay, I am ready. There you go. So, you think you were just holding a little bit high on the Russian ones, just to be fair with them?
Yeah, I was. Once I figured out where they're shooting, and I looked again at my bead sights. It's can't hardly see the target behind the bead. So part of it I'm guesstimating. But yeah, I put that one almost at ground level compared to holding the same sight picture.
Okay.
I put that one at ground level in front of the jug, and so it was me. The slugs were
Sometimes,
doing great.
yeah, there's always human error. That's why we say the tests are always subjective, you know. Just a little twitch. You know, you go from one gun to a different gun that has different ballistics. There's a lot of things. But it gives you an idea that the Russian slugs were relatively accurate for what they were, for how old they were. You know, you could probably take down a boar with
I can't complain. You run these through something with a scope where you can zoom in, and
yeah.
as opposed to this.
I can't imagine too many of the Russian dudes having scopes on their shotguns or nothing like that. 50 yards may not seem like a long distance, but that's about the effective range of most shotgun ammo. I think the Russian stuff did pretty well. It was neat to revisit this, take some longer shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Based on our super unscientific test here, the VYATKA Slug has very similar accuracy and performance as the old American Foster Slug. And the American Foster Slug really isn't known for its super accuracy. It's good enough to get the job done, up to about 50 yards with bead sights and a little further with good optics. We want to thank our Patreon supporters and our channel members for their support to keep this channel alive. Without you guys, we'd be selling lemonade on the curb. Thanks for watching.